Welcome back once again, everybody, to the Rockstar Logic series. The freaking go-karts, man. I've been putting these off for way too long, but there are just some insane Rockstar logics with these things. I could not leave them out. So, the go-karts. Personally, I'm not a fan of these things. But first off, if I take this outside, okay? Look at this. This thing has its own icon on the map. Why? I don't really know why. Usually that's reserved for weaponized vehicles, but that's not even the worst of it. This thing's in the sports class, despite this thing being called the Vito Classic. Because that makes sense. But the craziest thing comes when you're trying to race this thing, because whenever you think of go-karts, you probably think about go-kart racing, right? I know I do, because at one point the amusement park that was nearby had go-karts there you could race. So, yeah, I think about go-kart racing naturally. But, seriously though, if you take these into like a stunt race or something, and you go through the sports class, you'll find that they're not there. So, Rockstar literally added go-karts to the sports class that aren't even raceable. This is one of the oldest things in the game with Rockstar logics. So we get into this car, right? How the hell did that door close without me even touching it? How? I want an explanation. How does this door close without my character even touching the door? And you might say, oh, that's probably an automatic system. No! Automatic systems take a lot longer to close the damn door and open it. So I just want to know, how exactly does it open and close without the character even touching it? And the weirdest thing is that on cars like the freaking Pro-Gen Tyrus, your character actually pulls the damn door down. So if there is some sort of automatic system that's causing that to happen, then why is it on something like a freaking T20 for 2.2 million, but not on a hypercar like the Tyrus for 2.55 million? It makes no sense at all. Now this is just... what the hell? So we got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 80, 100, and also 160, 180. This is the Entity XF. This is the Entity XF, a car that was added on day one. How long have they been doing this under our noses? What is this shit? What is it? This car is $795,000, so it's not nearly as much as the T20 with the fucking 280s, 20, 40, 80. But there's two numbers that are missing on this speedometer, while there's two numbers that are the same on the T20 speedometer. What are these car speedometers? And speaking of speedometers, what is with the one on the Krieger? Now, look, I mean, obviously the Krieger's speedometer is just a little bit different than all the others, but what are these numbers? And obviously that's not actually how fast the car is going. And people might say, oh, maybe it's in kilometers. No, that's been checked. So, where exactly are the numbers on the speedometer of the Krieger coming from? On a $2,875,000 hypercar, what is with this speedometer stuff? I feel like freaking Benefactor are trying to make their customers feel like they're going faster when they're actually going even slower. So, great job, Benefactor. You ripped me off. Alright. This is interesting. This is my Pro-Gen Tyrus. Alright, you've probably seen this a couple times in this video already. But this is the interior, and it has an RPM LED display, okay? You can see that right underneath the speedometer. It has an LED... like, goes, like, green, yellow, red, LED RPM display, okay? Take note of that, okay? Take note, because it's a nighttime, this is nighttime too, okay? you can clearly see the RPM display. But then you grab out the Itali GTB of Benny's car, okay? Freaking Benny's car, and you can see where the RPM display is on this one. One there, or no, not there, but they're like at the top of the speedometer. And guess what? Can't see shit, Captain. What is this? What is this? Okay. Benny's claim that they're like one of the best mod shops in Los Santos, right? So how come their lights are dimmer than freaking nighttime? That doesn't make any sense. And the same thing goes for the actual LED speedometer, because for some reason, I tried to make it a red speedometer in the GTB, and it, like, barely even showed up at night. But the funny thing about that is that the red coloring of the dial, like the, RPM, or the, not RPM, but the LED speedometer display in the Truffade Nero Custom is actually visible at night. So what is up with the freaking Benny's cars? Also, this is not necessarily a Rockstar logic, rather it is a Rockstar player-based logic. People have said before that the Chevelle Taipan is like the slowest car in the game. But somehow, even though they say that, the thing beats a freaking XA21 Ocelot down the entire highway. Yeah, it beat that thing. My winter-themed car that I used in the Monica D Dubstep video for Old Town Road. That car. This thing beat that. And it beat them many times. And people say that these are like the slowest cars in the game. You're wrong! They're not. This is funny, okay? So, you're telling me that this is made by Japan's finest artisans? Okay. Engineers, aeronautics experts, yes. Martial artists? Okay. Chefs? Excuse me? Since when could a chef build a car? Especially one that's meant to go on a racetrack. I mean, it is from Japan and all. And I don't know what Japan is doing. But last time I checked, chefs and martial artists don't fucking build cars. F1 cars. These things cost a ridiculous amount of money. Okay? They cost... The most expensive one is the freaking PR4 at $3.515 million. Okay? Expensive as hell. And watch this. If I sort them by price... all four of the top freaking priced ones are F1 cars. But you're telling me that not only can you not top 120 down the highway in one of these things, but you can't even use guns in these things, and you're completely out in the open. Look at that little baby-sized windshield that you can barely even see. It's like a fucking inch tall. How can you not shoot over that? That makes literally no sense. If I'm spending $3.4 million on a BR-8 Benefactor, I should be able to fucking defend myself from it. Especially if I'm right out in the open like that. Now, this is one of the newest Rockstar logics to be added to the game. The submarine. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you guys watched that live stream that I covered the Cayo Perico heist, I don't remember ever buying submarine storage. I don't remember doing that. But I can still send it back to storage. So, I want to know, what storage? I didn't buy any storage. And even if I somehow did with the freaking package deal, that doesn't make any sense. It should have been advertised on the freaking website. Alright, and finally, I just want to end this off on a pricing logic. So, in this game, you can buy a submarine for a base price of $2,200,000. Okay? A nuclear-powered submarine costs that amount, okay, with like torpedoes and stuff. You know what costs more? A freaking hypercar with no weapons on it. Look at this. Costs the exact same amount, the freaking T-20. If you find it. Come on. There, T-20. So what would you rather have? A nuclear-powered submarine or a goddamn McLaren? I mean, you guys probably already know what I would pick, but if that's besides the point. There are even cars that are over $1 million more than a military-grade, nuclear-powered submarine. How does that make any sense that a hypercar, including this one, are costing even more than a nuclear-powered military submarine? Doesn't make any sense.